Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, April 11th, 2021. Sharon knows. She knows. Well, yeah, Sharon knows. How could anyone not notice that wide-eyed, shifty look on her face all week long? Nick and Ray are bumbling around like, dude, does it seem like Sharon is extra stressed and hiding something? Yeah. What was your first clue? Was it the deer in the headlights look that she's giving every 30 seconds? Ray walks into the room, deer in the headlights. Text message to her phone, deer in the headlights. Someone mentions Adam's name, deer in the headlights of an SUV. Ray told Sharon early in the week that Adam was the Good Samaritan who saved her daughter's life, saved her from losing a second child in a horrible accident. And Sharon could not have looked less shocked. That should have been the moment Ray realized that he needed to tail her so that she could lead him right to Adam. I mean, come on. That information didn't even faze her because she already knew. Well, yeehaw! Sharon rides out to the lake to meet Adam in her cowgirl fringe skirt, where they sat on the bed and talked at length, but did not have sex on that bed, as many of us were predicting. Oh, but, you know, these clever writers knew that we were all going to be thinking that. They had them meet in a room with an empty bed. The writers knew that all the fans would be waiting, wondering if that empty bed would become ground zero for a crisis romp. That ought to take the edge off. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there was this cheeky little moment where Adam was changing his clothes by the window. Sharon had brought him a change of clothes, and he was in the background by the window, buttoning up his shirt, and Sharon was sitting on the bed in the foreground, looking uncomfortable, kind of looking back at him while he was buttoning up his clothes, and then looking back away. Like she knew she shouldn't be watching him dress, but she really wanted to be watching him undress. See, Y&R knows that's what we were waiting for, and they were playing into it, but they did not deliver it. No. Instead, it was all talk, no action. Well, some action, but mostly talk. Adam was able to convince Sharon that he did not try to kill her new husband and that he needs her help to set a trap for the real person who's behind it all, Chelsea. Chelsea. Oh boy. It's kind of funny. Each side is trying to trap each other at this point. Because Adam and Chloe kind of had the same idea to use some bait to try to draw the other side out. It's a standoff and somebody's got to break it. Chloe was telling Chelsea that she wanted to use Connor as bait to draw Adam out of hiding. I mean, it's understandable. Chloe has a legitimate growing concern about the mess that her BFF has pulled her into. And Chloe knows that the reason Adam hasn't been found is because he's lurking. He's close. He's staying nearby and he will retaliate. And there was this very interesting moment where Chloe said to Chelsea, "It's either him or me." And that makes me wonder what Chloe's ultimate role in all of this is going to be as it all continues to shake out. Now, Adam had the same idea in reverse. Adam wanted to use Sharon as bait to draw Chelsea out of the wheelchair. And it was great. It was kind of great. I mean, Sharon goes to Chelsea playing dumb and buxom quite beautifully. It was really good. She was laying it on really thick. I get the feeling that Sharon was trying to be as unlikable as possible, knowing that Chelsea's jealousy of her is what drove her to frame Adam in the first place. Sharon, being quite the little actress there, just pretended like she and Chelsea were on the same side. Sharon was saying that she knew where Adam was and that she was going to prove his innocence. And then the second Chelsea left the room, the second that Sharon left the room, sure enough, Chelsea popped up out of her wheelchair and she was ready to follow right behind Sharon and into a trap. But then she stopped. Then she realized that Sharon was working with Adam and that she is going to have to be even more clever to accomplish her goal of getting Adam tossed into prison forever for kissing another woman. Makes total soapy sense. So Chelsea concocts an organic, all-natural, grass-fed moment where she, after months of pretending to be paralyzed, coughs out to Nick the words, "Sharon knows." That was a great Friday cliffhanger, but it confuses me a little bit. I'm assuming that Chelsea is hoping Nick will now turn around and follow Sharon, who will lead right to Adam, and then Adam gets arrested. Chelsea's plan complete. But what Chelsea doesn't know is that Nick already suspects that Sharon knows. So there's no big bombshell there unless I'm missing something, or unless, is Chelsea hoping that what Nick assumes out of her organic moment is that Sharon was in on it? Is Chelsea hoping that Nick will assume Sharon was in on Adam's plan to poison Ray? I don't know. Ray. I mean, I gotta take a moment to pause on Ray because I think Ray has about one more straw and it's going to break. The topic of Adam was, we'll call it a sore spot. before Ray got mysteriously poisoned. He is going to lose it now. Ray's gonna lose it. Ray pinned Sharon down at the end of the week, Friday's show, and Sharon admitted that not only has Adam been in contact with her and she's been hiding it, but she's gone to see him. And now she's defending Adam against the charges. We all know that Ray is not just going to accept that. In the previews for next week, Ray has tracked Adam down to the empty lake house, and he's kicking open the door with his gun drawn, all by himself, by the way. No backup officers, nothing. Just one Ray and one gun kicking down the lake house door. But Adam and Sharon are gone. There's nobody in there. So I don't know. I think this is starting to look like an edgier Ray to me. He's becoming obsessed with Adam in the way that Billy has been obsessed with Adam in the past. I guess there always has to be someone obsessed with Adam and getting him out of the way. So I wonder if there's any chance that Nick will tell Ray that Chelsea confirmed Sharon's involvement, and then Ray, fueled by his hatred of Adam and his feelings of betrayal by Sharon, will believe that Adam and his wife were both in on the plan to poison him. Nick told Phyllis this week that he's standing somewhere between hatred and gratitude when it comes to his feelings about his brother, Adam. I thought that was a really interesting dichotomy, standing between hatred and gratitude. I liked that. Well, Faith learns that Uncle Adam, is the one who saved her life, and she's gonna have to pay her own drunk diving ticket now. It was like a double whammy of bad news for Faith. I'm gonna make you pay that drunk driving ticket, young lady. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not a punishment if your money bag dad pays your ticket for you, pays for your crime, which arguably Nick's money bag dad has been paying for a few things along the way when it came to his son. But no, I'm glad that Y&R has at least given us the illusion that Faith will have a punishment, even though we'll probably never see her go to court, never see her performing said community service, and we will probably never see her in rehab or counseling. But hey, we did see Nikki preparing her for what rehab will be like. And we also saw Faith writing a letter of amends to her parents. That's one of the 12 steps, right? Making amends. So Y&R is making an effort there to show Faith's remorse for the bad decisions that she made. She was under an incredibly difficult circumstance. I mean, everything that happened to her with the bullying, she was a victim of. But the choice that she made to get behind the car was hers. And I like that Y&R is at least giving us the illusion that she's regretful and that she is going to do some service for that. Last week I asked you guys if you were glad to see that Y&R is aging Faith up. I'm not surprised that the majority of you, 56%, were not liking this decision. 44% of you said, yes, I'm ready for the more mature Faith. But to me, I think that a lot of people felt like, oh, we're really just getting somewhere with Faith, and her possible recovery and rehab would have been an interesting direction to go. But since Olivia is leaving the role, presumably of her own choice. She's going to do a TV series now. It seems clear to me that Y&R decided to just seize on to the opportunity to go in a different direction, go in a new direction with Faith. Like, if we have to recast her, then we might as well make some changes to the character too. If the actress has to change, why not do something different with the character? The timing is just a bit of a shame for me, but I think that the young love story will surely be interesting. Moses is adorable. And he already seems to be making an effort to get to know Faith. I think that's really cute. I think Faith needs someone who is of her own age range to be an ally. That's what she wanted all along. When you are that age, you're ready to break away from your parents and your family. So it's understandable that Faith was looking for someone that was a peer to talk to and confide in. And first, that was Jordan. And Jordan turned out to be cruel and awful. So Faith turned to this anonymous person who she thought was her ally. And that's how the ball all got rolling. So it's good that Faith will have an actual ally of her age range to talk to. Moses was volunteering at the hospital, and he, of course, made a round to check on Faith, and it was to make sure that she was okay, but he was also inquiring about what her story is. It seemed like he wanted to really get to know her, and it was revealed that apparently Moses has been the victim of bullying too. It's very common, I'm sure. And he said something to the effect of, like, you either are the bully or you're bullied, or you're someone who is a protector. And I thought that was a cool way of putting it. But Moses obviously has been in some situations similar to Faith, and he's risen above. So I have full faith that Faith can do the same. She will just need to do it with a different face. Did Phyllis have a moment of jealousy over Nick spending so much time with Sharon right now? Oh, look who's defending their ex. Well, gee, there's a throwback. Phyllis really hasn't shown any signs of jealousy about Sharon in a long time, right? I think right now that's Chelsea's full-time job. It's Chelsea's full-time job to be jealous of Sharon. So Phyllis can take a break. Honestly, Nick and Phyllis have been on the same page about almost everything up until this week, but now Phyllis's meddling in the Sally situation has messed things up for Summer. After Summer pleaded with Phyllis repeatedly to just drop it. Summer wanted to handle her business with Sally the same way that Kyle wanted to handle his business with Locke. They wanted to both do it without parental intervention. But Phyllis went digging around without Summer's permission, and in fact against Summer's wishes. And Phyllis's digging around caused Lauren to start digging around, trying to find out what was going on with Summer and Sally that has made Phyllis so vehement about getting Sally out of town. And apparently you do not want to get on Lauren's bad side when it comes to her business, because Lauren laid down the law this week. First, Lauren confronted Sally about it all, and Sally admitted that she kinda, sorta, maybe a little is blackmailing Summer. But It's only as an insurance policy so that Summer will stop blackmailing her. Gasp. Catfights and gossip and blackmail in Genoa City. How can that be? Lauren was ticked. No more musing about, when we were young and impetuous and all the mistakes of youth. No. Lauren told Sally that she was deeply disappointed in her. Ouch. That hurt. It was just like Victor and Faith last week, where Faith was afraid most of all that Victor would be disappointed in her. Lauren's disappointment, I think, hurt Sally a lot. Lauren seemed a little lighter on Summer, though. Maybe that was just me, but I felt like Summer got off a little easier. Lauren called a meeting with Summer, too. But Summer was able to, just lightly kind of admit that she was insecure about her job and insecure about everything just her whole world. She was insecure. She admitted her insecurity. But she also said that everything she found out in LA, while she was supposed to be doing JCV business, it was just a side note. Summer definitely acted like it was information that came to her instead of her really seeking it out, which is what we kind of know happened. Well, Lauren had to call a meeting with both women to give them one more chance to iron this out, but this is their last chance. Is that crystal clear? The Summer and Sally feud must be squashed. There must be nothing more to it. Is that crystal clear? Yes, Lauren, it's crystal clear. Crystal. Women have to support other women, especially in the workplace. I liked that moment. I thought that was really great that Lauren said that. Women should be supporting other women, especially in the workplace. That was very smart of her. I mean, the two women decided to call an official truce, but I wonder how true that truce will actually be. Because Sally has been wondering, well, how did Lauren find out about any of this? Surely it must have been Summer, right? Summer went back on the secrecy deal that they had, told Lauren everything, and broke their ceasefire agreement. But that's not true. Lauren just sniffed it all out after Phyllis tried to have Sally mailed to Abu Dhabi. And even if Sally realizes that Phyllis was the one behind it all, Sally's secret is out now. So what's holding her back from retaliation? So far, no one has let the cat out of the bag about the potential son that Kyle has. And Ashland Locke is circling like a vulture. Sally's got nothing left to lose. Well, no, that's not true. The thing that Sally still has left to lose is her job. But she might have lost Jack. Lauren ran right back to Jack to fill him in on all of the juicy gossip. And then Jack sat down with Sally to give her a chance to explain. Oh my gosh, those were some really riveting scenes. Those were some long-awaited scenes. I was really glued to my screen for that because Sally tells Jack most of the details of her story since arriving in Genoa City. Theo, the blackmail of Summer and Kyle, her motives, but Sally also tells Jack the prologue to her story from back in LA. Her feelings of abandonment, faking a deathly illness to get her boyfriend back, and whatever. Jack really seemed to be making an effort to understand where Sally was coming from and why she did what she did. But after all was said and done, he told Sally that he thinks they need to slow down their relationship, and he walks out and he leaves Sally in tears. Aww. I know I'm not supposed to be rooting for Sally, but as impossible as it sounds, I really do think that Sally has feelings for Jack. I think a really good insight into Sally's character came out of that video call between Sally and her grandmother, Shirley Spectra. Now, that's the original Sally Spectra's sister right there. This was a spin-off. This was a retcon to the story from within the past, 3 years. They gave Sally Spectra, the original, a quirky sister, and the quirky sister is the one who raised Sally Spectra Jr. Now, I have to say, I think that the Shirley Spectra is fantastic. She's one of those actresses, kind of like Richard Burgi. Like, it's just one of these actors who you've seen 100 times. Patrika Darbo is her name, and she's been in everything, movies, TV. I found her to be a delight on The Bold and the Beautiful. But what I really think is important about that scene, even though it kind of seems like a throwaway, I think that scene really set the tone for the level of schemery that Sally has been working here in Genoa City. Oh, Sally's Grams could not believe that Sally was dating the Jack Abbott of Jabot Cosmetics, but she was just hoping to get a lifetime of lipstick out of the deal. Like, best case scenario, she just wanted her favorite shade of lipstick. So what that tells me is that we're talking about a con artist light situation. Same great taste, but fewer calories. Con artist light. That's why when Sally cried over Jack, I believed it. I mean, there's always, for me, been a nugget of sincerity and vulnerability in Sally's character that I've seen that makes me want to forgive her antics, which, let's face it, that's what her character's intended to provide. Antics, that's what she's there for, antics. But Jack's in a stage of life where he's past the antics and he's got a real problem on his hands now. And that problem is named Ashland Locke. Jack realizes that Sally had information that could have helped him get ahead of the situation with Kyle and Locke. And she still does have information that could have helped him get ahead of the situation with Kyle and Locke. Kyle, do you recall spending much time in the Hamptons? Do you recall sleeping with my wife? Gee, Mr. Locke, you sure do have a strange sense of humor. That was my favorite moment of the week, hands down. Do you recall sleeping with my wife? Locke was just looking at Kyle with that cold, dead stare. He's so hard to read. And Kyle did such an amazing job of playing dumb. Imagine that. Kyle's really good at playing dumb. But he did it with such poise and precision. It was great. I was convinced by Kyle. He had a good presentation, but I don't think his presentation was enough to convince Ashland Locke. After the meeting, Locke went immediately back to his hotel room, and he had one of his cronies pull up all of Jabot's financial information, looking for a weakness in the company's finances that he could exploit. And then later, he called Kyle to cancel the partnership with Jabot that he proposed. So now Kyle knows that his smooth cover-up was not as smooth as he had hoped, and now the Abbott family legacy is in danger. Ooh. Let's just hope that Jabot doesn't have any outstanding debts that Locke can suddenly buy up, because there is no John Abbott around to ride in on his white horse and save the day. Billy and Lily's first post-COVID kiss. I bet you guys thought that I was going to lead off with "this is my top story," and maybe I should have, because it was quite a pleasant surprise. I had no idea it was coming. So when Lily opened up her hotel room door, wearing her sex dress and pulling Billy in for some sex time, I was completely waiting for the cutaway. I've gotten so used to the camera trickery. And as they got closer and closer, and their lips got closer and closer, and their mouths got wider and wider, my mouth got wider and wider until, yeah, a real life kiss. And it was a good one, too. Use all of the saliva. All of it. Deliver that kiss unto the fans. We have earned it. That kiss was our reward for our patience and diligence throughout this pandemic crisis. I mean, we've had to make sacrifices. I don't even think I fully realized how much I missed kisses until I saw that kiss again. Billy and Lily were on fire, and I was happy to see that the argument that they had early in the week was something that just added fuel to the buildup of this kiss that we were going to get, that Y&R knew we were all going to be gaga over. Must say thank you. Yeah, as the week kicked off, of course, Billy was ready to write his I told you so story about Adam Newman's latest drama. He wanted to do the follow-up, but Lily pressed pause. She said, "No, we already have someone covering that story. You don't need to do it. You need to back off." But there's some trouble in paradise on a couple of different fronts, because then there was Victoria's partnership proposal. And that had already put a wedge between he and Lily last week. So finally, after a little talk with Jack, Billy realized that, you know what, it's not worth it. All of this is just not worth it. Billy and Lily don't just have a business partnership, they have a relationship too, and Billy decided to put that first. He decided to turn down Victoria's offer, and in fact, he kind of put Victoria in her place too when it comes to her little comments and opinions about his new relationship. But that did not stop Victoria. That did not stop her. Purely out of the goodness of Victoria's heart, I'm sure, she gave Lily a warning again that Billy is a ticking time bomb. I'm sure that Victoria just wants to help Lily out by reminding her that Billy is a gambler, and that he could gamble away everything they have together, personally and professionally, at any moment. I'm sure Victoria was just warning Lily out of kindness. But Lily was not to be deterred. She met that challenge by running straight up to her hotel room, putting on the sex dress, and giving us the best soapy surprise that we have had all year. Oh, yeah, I don't want to see Victoria or anybody else come in between Billy and Lily. I mean, Billy's made his choice. I think it was a good one. He chooses Lily. He chooses partnership. I like it. But the problem still is Billy's choice has consequences. Victor has been very busy poaching Chancecom's employees away. He wants them to come work at his new Cyaxaries company, and they're accepting his offer. Boy, it must be tough times at Chancecom if those employees would rather go work for a company that's new and where the co-CEO is currently on the run from murder charges. Sure, we'd rather go work for a brand new company with all of this scandal around one of the co-CEOs running away from attempted murder charges rather than walk by that broom closet one more time and have to hear Lily and Billy have sex on their lunch break. I'd rather go into uncertain territory than listen to Billy and Lily have sex in that broom closet one more time. I'm trying to do my job here. Well, Billy still hasn't given up on the idea of taking over Cyaxaries, though. He bumps into Ashland Locke and urges him to just say no to Victor and Adam and all of the Newman drama. And from the previews, it seems as if Locke might actually do that. He's meeting with both Billy and Victoria, asking them to call heads or tails, seemingly leaving ownership of Cyaxaries company up to a coin tossed. I don't think that's going to happen. A coin toss? That doesn't, I appreciate Ashland Locke's flair for the dramatics, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Billy and Victoria are poised to become competitors now. And I think that Victoria is going to win Cyaxares fair and square, because then that'll put Newman Enterprises pitted against ChanceCom in this media space. Billy and Lily already have the media company. They don't need another one. But if Victoria gets it, this is all assuming that Adam and Victor can't have it. If Victoria gets the new media company, then it comes under the Newman Enterprises umbrella. And then we have some drama around Victoria's ability to hang on to it. Because will Victoria retain control of Newman Enterprises after all is said and done? Billy told Victor that Victoria formed a partnership against him. Billy basically went and busted Victoria out for trying to team up and go against Victor, and Victor was not happy about it. Victor turned around and then gave Victoria a very stiff and mysterious warning that she had better get her judgment back on track or else. So what's the or else? I think Victoria is going to be so ticked off that Billy blabbed that to her dad. She's been spending all her spare time trying to save him from ruin, again, out of the pure goodness of her heart. And he went and told on her to Daddy. So Victoria knows full well what Billy thinks of her position at Newman Enterprises. He thinks it's a smokescreen. He told her a couple weeks ago that her position is only the illusion of control, that Victor is the one who's really in charge. So I think that Victoria might just win the battle for Cyaxares, but I think that Victor could win the war. Victor could very easily just boot Victoria right out of Newman Enterprises, hand it over to Adam along with Cyaxares, and, well, make Adam the head of Newman and Cyaxares as soon as he clears up this pesky attempted murder charge business. Also, in those previews for next week, Victor is warning Amanda not to be looking into Newman Enterprises and not to be looking into him. Seeming like maybe either Victor has something to hide or he just doesn't want the intrusion. Amanda versus Victor. I kind of like the dynamic that's going on with Amanda versus her grandfather. I kind of liked Sutton Ames. Maybe I just liked the actor. I looked him up. He's a folk singer too. Jack Landron. That's so interesting. Kind of liked him. He had a good face. He seemed refreshingly honest, or at least he seemed to be honest. I guess that's part of being a politician, seeming like you're honest, at least. Yeah, he paid a personal visit to Amanda to ask for her help in defending his case. But I guess what I liked is that he didn't try to sugarcoat the circumstances around her birth. Like Naya, he was glad he did what he did for his daughter, and he apparently has kept tabs on Amanda and Hillary all these years. Okay, I liked that part. It was spooky. Just the idea that Amanda and Hillary had this secret, lurking, all-knowing grandfather getting yearly progress reports on both of them when they didn't even know it. I like that for some reason. It was spooky. The actor was spooky too. There was just something about it that was eerie. He had a quiet, unrepentant way about him. It was an unnerving scene. And I think it really unnerved Amanda too. I mean, if she went through levels of emotion, she is just the one to watch in all of this. But Amanda was angry and she was defiant, of course, but she was also self-assured. Amanda wanted to prove herself right. She wants to prove that she could be good enough to keep, good enough to be part of their family, good enough even to win his case. For Amanda, I think taking this job is about proving that she's good enough, proving that she's worthy. There's something deeper going on there. She took a day to think about it, but then told Naya that she is going to accept the offer. She's going to be the lead counsel on this case. I'm sure that went over real well with the family's other criminal attorneys. Oh, yeah, we're going to just go ahead and defer our years of combined experience and be led by a contract attorney who's never tried a criminal case. Awesome. Let's do that. But she's never lost a case. But she's like 25. But she's never lost a case. Oh, yeah. I like this story. I'm into it. One more thing I have to repeat again. I just really like the actress who's playing Naya. She is very skilled. You can see in her scenes that she is quite talented. She is poised. I like her style. I like her delivery. She certainly had more charisma and more appeal than Imani. I wouldn't mind terribly if Imani disappeared forever, although she's apparently dropping her restraining order against Amanda. So I wonder if we're going to be seeing Imani again soon. Seems like the door is open for that. But back to Naya. So she was talking this week with Amanda, answering questions about Amanda's father, and she mentioned that while she liked him, respected him, thought he was great, there just weren't any love sparks there. And I couldn't help thinking to myself, okay, well, who in Genoa City could we create some love sparks for with Naya? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of loving the idea of pairing Naya with Jack. I mean, yes, I'm loving the Jack and Sally drama. I'm all about it for the next couple months. But when all of that is over, I wouldn't mind seeing Jack introduced to his next true love forever, Naya. It's official. Mariah is pregnant with Abby's child. Yes, Mariah had a womb for rent, and now that she has a tenant, she can just take the sign right out of the window. Womb for rent, here you go. Well, congratulations all around. Half the town shove a cigar in everyone's mouth. We're having a baby. But are we? I'm going to ask you guys to look into your crystal balls this week and tell me, do you think that Mariah will carry Abby's baby to full term that's our poll question for this week at yrchat.com. Mariah's pregnant, but is she going to have a baby? I can kind of see it going either way. I mean, in soap world, there is an alarmingly high rate of miscarriages. And there's part of me that wouldn't be at all surprised to see Y&R pulling the plug on this story that way. But the other part of me says, well, Y&R has swum out into the middle of the sea on this one, and maybe they just have no choice but to keep swimming. All they have to do is get to the part where Abby learns that Chance is presumed dead, and then it's smooth swimming from there. With Chance officially dead, there's going to be no more video diaries, no more need to pretend to involve him. I thought that the video diaries it was a nice trick. Like watching two cameras filming the same person was interesting. I could definitely see a difference in the quality there because Abby looked so great on the Y&R camera and so much like every other vlogger on the phone camera. I was like, wow, she looks so glamorous on the Y&R camera, but she looks like me on the regular the phone camera. It's all about lighting and angles. The Y&R camera was shooting from slightly above. The phone camera was shooting from slightly below. And that slightly below angle is not flattering for anyone. But it was neat. I like that was done, but I'm ready to get some resolution on the Chance thing. I feel like once Chance is gone, everyone can come together once again to support Abby in any way they can, no matter what lengths they must go to, no matter how far out on a limb they must step. And then the sadness of losing Chance will just fade into the background as the joy of a new life swells to the surface. Happily ever after. Hallelujah. Amen. The end. Wow, I think that I've gotten either bad or good at picking who said it quotes in the last couple of weeks, because it seems like every quote I pick, a bunch of people get it right, and this week was no exception. It was Sandra, Daisy, Henry, David D, Heather, Deetles, Sherrod, Juanita, Kamna, TB84, Heather K, Jamie, Yay Marky, Ambreen, and Diana, who all guessed last week's quote, which was, I don't care if you have to bite your tongue off. I liked that line. It was Summer. Summer said that line to Phyllis, asking her to bite her tongue when it comes to Sally. And yeah, Phyllis definitely pulled herself back, but bite her tongue she did not. Well, I feel like I'm here we go. This is going to be one that you guys are probably all going to guess, but I can't help it. I think it's a good line. Who said it? I love a good underdog story. Yeah, I do too. I love a good underdog story. If you think you know who said that, then you should go to yrchat.com to leave me your guess. And if you get it right, then I will include your name in the long list of people who get it right during next week's Y&R Chat. Well, I think we should take a look at some of our comments here. And just because I didn't start out with my top story as being the Billy and Lily kiss, that doesn't mean that we can't start out your top stories as being the Billy and Lily kiss. T. Nicole says, did I just see Billy and Lily's first on-screen kiss? At first, I didn't think anything of it, and then my brain was like, wait, what? They just kissed, and I'm watching it. Yes. That kiss was so important because it was the first post-COVID kiss, but what I didn't think of, T. Nicole, is that, that was Billy and Lily's first on-screen kiss, period, wasn't it? The Billy and Lily relationship picked up after we came back from the hiatus. So Billy and Lily's full relationship has taken place under the COVID restrictions. It's so interesting to think about how well that couple has been developed, how much interest there is in that couple, given the fact that, when you think back on it, they haven't ever even been able to share a kiss. The fire is still there. How's that possible? No kisses, no real life kisses, and the fire was still there. Well, how much more kisses are we going to get? Was that a one-time thing and they just teased us with it and now we're going to be all hungry for kisses later? Or is this just the beginning and there's more kisses to come? That's the question. And also, why now? I'd love to know why now. I saw someone at the website had theorized that maybe it was because both actors had received their vaccines. I saw someone else mention that maybe it was just the rapid COVID testing. I'm not sure. I'm curious to know why now. Why has the timing changed now? Because I thought maybe the cases in California were going up, or there was a new strain or something. But then again, I mean, this would have been filmed 6 weeks ago, presumably. So I'm not sure exactly why now, but I'm not complaining. I'll take what I can get. Victoria says, Lily has the patience of a saint. Billy is wearing thin. Lily says they are solid, but Billy keeps pushing the boundaries that she sets. If he isn't careful, he'll bulldoze past them and lose the best thing that he was lucky to get. Yes, it is part of Billy's character, and I think it is the gambler in him. I mean, he wanted Lily more than anything, and then as soon as he got her, he is willing to gamble with her a little bit. Not saying that Billy has to take Lily's word for everything or agree with her on everything, but he's maybe not picking the right bets. Going toe-to-toe with her over anything having to do with Victoria or Adam, I'm just not sure it's worth it. I'm glad that he ultimately did make the right choice this week, but then we see him right back in that chair in the previews, trying to battle for Cyaxaries. My question is, does Lily even know that he's sitting in that chair in that room with Victoria and Ashland Locke? I don't know. Diana says, I'm enjoying the rivalry between Lily and Victoria. I find it very realistic that the ex-wife and mother of Billy's children is not making things easy for Lily. I will continue to root for Lily as I have no interest in ever seeing Billy and Victoria together again. Lily always handles herself well where Victoria is concerned, and I'm happy that Lily is not letting Victoria sabotage or get in the way of her relationship with Billy. Victoria needs to start dating again to get her mind off of Billy. I like that you mentioned the way Lily handles Victoria, because that scene at the coffee house between them really could have been over the top, but there is something about the way that Lily responds to Victoria's jabs that actually ultimately makes Lily more appealing. She takes it, but she has this way of appearing like she's blowing it off. She doesn't have an over-the-top reaction to any of it. She just sort of takes it, absorbs it, and very quietly and skillfully pushes it back away from her. I like it. It's surprising to me that my love of Lily has really boosted coming out of all of this. I would not have expected it. My love of Victoria is perhaps down a little bit. Superplex says, well, Victoria, if Billy is an incorrigible gambler, then what does that say about you that you still want him? Yes, it was interesting that Victoria was very quick to air all of Billy's problems to Lily to remind her that, well, this guy is a total screw-up, and yet at the same time, we know she wants him back. Well, hey, last week I had a fun little assignment for you guys. I asked if you had to recast the role of Victor Newman. Obviously, that's impossible, but let's say you had to do it. Who would you pick to play the role of Victor? Leslie says, I love the idea of Sam Elliott. That was Allie's choice. But Leslie says, I was also thinking Tom Selleck. That is so good. I wish I would have thought of that, Leslie, because also Tom Selleck is a CBS actor, I think, right? Isn't Blue Bloods? That's a CBS show. So, oh my gosh, you could totally transition Tom Selleck over here and we'd be, and obviously this is just a hypothetical question. No one can fill Eric Braden's shoes, but you got to admit he would have the look. The mustache would be an important feature. Sandra says, I would pick Chaz Palminteri to play Victor. I would not have thought of that in a million years, Sandra, and I did have to go Google Chaz, but if you don't recognize his name, Google him, you will know his face. He's another one of these actors, so it's like, oh, you've just been in everything. And yeah, he would be a really good pick too. Heather says, I was thinking Dennis Quaid, but then there would have to be a lot more scenes with him shirtless, and Nikki would have a lot more competition to hold on to her man. Dennis Quaid. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I feel like I saw Dennis Quaid in something somewhere along the line where he played a guy that I didn't like. And so every time I see Dennis Quaid, I feel like I'm supposed to not like him. I feel like Dennis Quaid is good at playing a guy who's kind of smug and unlikable. Maybe it was Postcards from the Edge. That might have been it. I didn't really like him in that. He's very smug. He plays smug, the characters that he plays. But, I mean, as far as attractiveness goes, well, yeah. Interesting pick. Well, let's move over to talking about Sutton Ames. Superplex says Sutton Ames is more sinister than Ashland Locke. He is trying to pull a complete sham on Amanda, and he is succeeding. Additionally, he's a murderer, and Ashland is not. Oh, you do not trust Sutton Ames. You are not charmed by him. You think that not only is he guilty of murder, but that he's pulling the wool over Amanda's eyes. Here's an interesting theory from Sherrod responding by saying, don't be so sure that Ashland Locke is not a murderer. This is not his first juncture to Genoa City Junction. Okay, this is good. This is a theory, Sherrod. The person who killed Amanda's father could very well be the new villain guy in town. You might have just nailed it. What if we're taking all this circle around only to find out that Ashland Locke was the one who killed Amanda's father? Certainly could still be Sutton. I mean, that would be a good twist too. I'm, of course, just kind of wanting the twist, but I like that idea that all of this is going to maybe make Victor look like he did something to Amanda's father. Because, I mean, they said whoever did it worked at Newman Enterprises, and it was so long ago that even Neil wouldn't know. So, I mean, the only character that could be traced back to is Victor. So this is probably going to look like Victor did it, and then they're going to twist it in another direction that either Sutton did it, or, yeah, I mean, wow, if Ashlyn turned out to do it, that'd be a good one, too. Hey, Sherrod also says, so the powers that be have realized at the 11th hour that they forgot about the surrogate, Mariah's girlfriend/life partner, and had decided to call in Kate Fairbanks, Tessa, to just have her continue to play her role of the cheerleader. I personally could have done without it, even though I loved her outfit. Okay, first of all, I gotta say I loved Tessa's look. She showed up for about all of 3 minutes time, but that rocker schoolgirl outfit she had on was so cute. It was a plaid, maybe a red and white plaid, and she just looked really cool in that scene. Now, as far as the depth of her scene, you're right. It wasn't there. There was no depth. Tessa has no opinion on any of this. She is fully just there to support Mariah as minimally as possible. Hey, on that topic, here's something I didn't even notice. Victoria says Devon made a slip of the tongue when he told Amanda about the pregnancy. She gave him congratulations and asked if this was appropriate. He then responded, "Yes, it's my child." Then he corrected himself by saying Abby and Chance were the parents. The writers are already setting it up for Devon to be more heavily invested in this child than he had anticipated. Oh, yeah, I saw someone else mention this too, and it completely flew over my head. I guess I'm not expecting for Devon to want the child or to try to go to bat for the child in any way. All of my focus is on Mariah. I keep thinking if anybody is going to have second thoughts about all of this, that it would be Mariah. But you are making a really good point that this child will share Devon's genetic material, shall we call it. So Devon is going to look at this child and perhaps see a bit of himself. How could you not feel connected? How could you not want to be maybe even more connected than you are? This was such a big decision that absolutely no one thought about. I mean, Mariah thought about it, I'm sure, more than Devon. Devon was just like, oh yeah, you need some sperm? Oh, I got that. I got plenty. I think maybe no one in this scenario has fully conceived of how they're going to feel after the child is here, if indeed the child becomes here. Now, speaking of pregnancies, T. Nicole says, I just saw an Instagram post from Melissa Claire Egan, the actress who plays Chelsea, saying she's pregnant with a baby boy and is due in August. Oh, I didn't see that. She had something that she had posted a couple months ago where she was... she had alluded to having some trouble with a doctor or something that she had gone through possibly with an OBGYN or a reproductive specialist, something like that. And that makes me wonder if she had done an in vitro fertilization or if she had had fertilization treatments or something. I kind of got a sense that she had some struggle and some difficulty there. But obviously it has a happy ending if she's pregnant with a baby boy. Congratulations. Now the question becomes, how will Y&R handle it? Will they write that into Chelsea's story somehow? Or here's a theory from Kamna who says, I wonder if they will have her go to an inpatient facility for psychiatric treatment or maybe even jail for a bit. I prefer the former. I think they're headed in that direction. Adam does still love her. So you think she might go for psychiatric treatment. The only thing about that, though, is that there is going to be quite a gap. If she's just now announcing the gender of the baby, then she's probably like 3-4 months along. So she would just now maybe be starting to show a little bit. And we still got a ways to go. Like Chelsea's going to have to be dealt with sooner rather than later. I can't see Adam continuing to be on the run for, I don't know, another 6 weeks, knowing how far ahead they film. So I don't know if that would work time-wise, sending Chelsea off. It's also possible that maybe Melissa Claire Egan is going to decide to take a break from the show, and they are going to stretch it out, and we'll just see her go off or leave town or whatever. It's an interesting question considering how we've been talking lately about Chelsea's character being painted into a corner. She's become kind of one-dimensional. And I had a lot of people who have been predicting that maybe she is going to be written off the show. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. Kamna seems to think that we are headed in a direction of a Adam and Chelsea reunion. Kamna says Adam does still love her. That is a possibility. I mean, I think it is very possible that out of all of the Adam and Sharon speculation, that who knows, maybe Chelsea and Adam will just go right back to each other, and maybe Sharon will go right back to Ray. But Gary says, sorry, chats, no sex. Sharon loves the mister. See, then this really speaks to the point, too. I think everyone is kind of assuming that Adam and Sharon are just going to fall back into each other's arms. So much stress has been put on Sharon's relationship with Ray, and certainly Chelsea's relationship with Adam, but it's not as if there's nothing to bind them. Chelsea and Adam share a child. Sharon and Ray are married, and Sharon has so far been resisting the urge. I get the impression that Sharon made her choice. I mean, I said this at the time on the day that she married Ray. Yes, she loves Adam. Yes, she's attracted to Adam. Yes, she probably thinks about Adam late at night while Ray's sleeping right next to her. But she made her choice, and she's trying to live with it. She had an opportunity to be with Adam. She didn't have to marry Ray. Sharon wanted to marry Ray for whatever XYZ reasons, stability, whatever her reason is. I don't think that Sharon is helping Adam purely because she wants him. I think Sharon sees herself as a savior in a way. I think Sharon has been the recipient of that many times throughout the years, and I think Sharon is seeing an opportunity to help someone who she believes is innocent. I think Sharon has seen the good in Adam that everyone else has trouble seeing, and she sees herself as the champion of that. I think she's helping Adam because she wants to help him, not necessarily because she wants to be with him. Gary says also, it doesn't matter if Adam saved Faith's life. Sharon needs to go to jail for harboring a fugitive who, for all she knows, tried to kill her husband. Only her parting shot to Adam, turn yourself in so that we can find the truth the right way, makes any sense. This is all hopeless, and Ray needs to grab himself a quickie divorce from the Dominican Republic, as did Philip Chancellor, to rid himself of an alcoholic wife. Well, I love that, Gary. That is a fantastic callback. It's such a Gary thing to say. I think Sharon's plea to Adam was very significant. Turn yourself in so that we can find the truth the right way. This would have helped Sharon maintain her loyalty to Ray while helping Adam. But I think Sharon also knows full well that Ray is so blinded by his hatred for Adam. And in so many ways, Ray he's so focused on Adam that he doesn't see that the problem is his wife. Maybe you're right. Ray needs to get himself a quickie divorce from the Dominican Republic. Oh, goodness. But you also hit on an interesting idea, Gary, that maybe Sharon will be arrested out of this. If Ray was telling Sharon last week that his position on the police force was not going to help Faith avoid any kind of consequences from her actions, I wonder if that means that Ray will be open to arresting Sharon for harboring a fugitive. Oh my goodness. Yes, Daisy also reiterated that comment, saying, I wonder if Ray will arrest Sharon for harboring Ray's chosen guilty party, Adam. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think that Sharon could find herself in jail at the end of all this. See, I think that's really interesting. If we get to see a side shot of Adam and Sharon getting arrested and then tossed into jail, that'd be good. Then it would be up to maybe Nick to find out the truth. I don't think Ray's going to do it, but Nick is involved in this story for one reason or another. He's the one that had the conversation with Chelsea. Maybe if we have Adam and Sharon in jail, Ray on the prosecuting, or whatever, the arresting, he's the main driving force of keeping Adam and Sharon in jail, then maybe we'll have Nick stuck somewhere between hatred and gratitude, being the one to pull to the light, pull the truth to light. Ellen says Sharon is taking a chance on Adam, but she can also clearly see that Ray has zero objectivity here. He is running this case alone. Oh, what a joke. It is a personal vendetta. He hasn't even stopped to ask himself why Adam would be so careless to leave hugely incriminating evidence in his home and car. Why? Because the whole thing is a joke and there will be no justice with Ray in charge. Paul is AWOL and Michael is apparently on a mental vacation. It's a good thing that Sharon has her gut instincts about Adam. Other than Victor, that's about all he's got. Yeah, nobody's asking any questions about how convenient it is that all of this evidence was just found in his home and found in his car, as if Adam is going to try to murder Ray and then just leave evidence everywhere all over his possessions. There's no intuition happening here, and it is because the only person investigating it is Ray. Ray has his blind rage towards Adam, and there's nothing else balancing that out. As you say, Paul is AWOL. Paul's never going to come back. And Michael was just chilling. I mean, Michael's just waiting for the arrest to be made so that he can do his lawyer thing. He's thinking about the couple massage he wants to have with Lauren. I don't blame him. Michael is on mental vacation, no doubt about it, at the Grand Phoenix in a hotel room in a side-by-side massage chair with Lauren. That's where his mind is. That's why I think that we're seeing Nick's conflict for that reason. I think Nick is the one who will eventually bring the truth to light. Superplex had an interesting perspective here, saying, I like the fact that Sharon is completely committed to following through on Adam's plan. This isn't deer in the headlights, Sharon. This is instead a woman who is as guile and deceitful as any con artist we have seen in the past, and those are big shoes to fill. That is a really interesting perspective on Sharon, Superplex, that Sharon is not the victim of her situation, that Sharon is very much a driving force in everything she does, and that she is a little bit of a con artist here. I think it's an interesting perspective. I don't think I share it, but I like that view on Sharon. It gives me a little something different to think about. What about Chloe? you guys? What is Chloe's role in all of this going to be? Because she's there for a reason. Jamie says the tangled mess of lies Chloe is stuck in, thanks to Chelsea, keeps growing by the day. It's beyond time for Chloe to come clean to Kevin and start looking out for herself and her family. Chelsea clearly has no respect for her. Chelsea clearly has no respect for her so-called best friend. At this point, Chloe remaining loyal to Chelsea is foolish and dangerous. She may as well hit the self-destruction button and completely blow up the life that she and Kevin have worked so hard for. Speaking of Kevin, he has been nothing but supportive and loving to Chloe, no matter how far down the rabbit hole she has gone in the past. Keeping him in the dark on this whole scheme and putting their family at risk for yet another revenge on Adam plot is a betrayal so huge, things may never be the same between them. Yes, where's Kevin? I did hear right around the time that Donnie, it was legit. I didn't make that as a joke. Donnie, I'm still trying to work through it. Donnie Bose, when he got, in his name, I didn't pronounce his last name either. DB. When DB got fired, I did hear some buzz that Greg Ricart had been let go at around that same time. I don't know that that's true necessarily, but it is a curious point of where is Kevin in all of this, because it would have been interesting to see Chloe and Chelsea trying to cover it up while Ray and Kevin are working together to uncover it. Kevin would have been a really interesting element to have here, and he's just missing. He's just gone, and it would have been so relevant to have him here. You make an excellent point, Jamie, that Chloe is continuing to risk everything for Chelsea and her scam. And instead of being angry with Chelsea, she seems to have a very, we're in this together sort of attitude. And that's going to come back to haunt her more than she realizes. But we also did have that moment with Chloe where she almost seemed like she was coming unhinged a little bit. Like she was willing to do whatever she had to do. She said, it's him or me. It's Adam or me. And to me, that says, what is she going to do? How far is she going to go? Daisy says, I still wonder if Ray helped Chelsea set Adam up. Chelsea did say that there was more to what she did, but Chloe didn't want to hear it. I don't think Chloe snuck into Sharon's home and just knew what items Adam gave to her. So I wonder if Ray found out that Chelsea was getting better and plotted with her to set Adam up. And it was Ray who brought the items to Chelsea, and Chelsea gave Ray some of the drug to use so that he could appear to have been poisoned by Adam. Then Chelsea put some of the drug into the items and asked Chloe to plant them in the car. Nice, neat, tidy. Oh, boy, that'd be a good twist. I think everybody was kind of wishing that Ray had something to do with some of this, and so far he hasn't. But I do like your point that gap we saw in Chelsea's explanation of how she did what she did, that perhaps that was there for a reason because there's more of a twist to come. Well, how about we talk real quickly about Faith and that poll question where I asked you if you were happy to see Faith aged up. Heather says, it's a little insane to me. Soaps usually send kids away for a year or two, and then they return with Soraz, and voila, they've aged 3 to 10 years. But how can you age a character who has never left the canvas? Faith's story was getting interesting, too. She's 14, freshman in high school. They could use Moses and even Connor to come home as a teenager. Or how about Mac and how about Mac and JT's kids? That would give plenty of fun. Oh, yeah, or we could have Reed, Maddie, Charlie. Yeah, it seems like there's not a huge interest in boosting that age range, but I really like the idea that Connor could have come home as a teenager. What will happen when Connor gets aged up? Looking forward to that. TB84 says, I really got used to the only Faith I know, the one that's portrayed by Olivia, and I really appreciate the job she's done in the past few years, especially the past year. So, of course, I feel sad, and I'm against the recasting, but at the same time, I understand that she's got other pursuits and projects, and offers to explore her potential. So I guess it can't be helped, and I can't judge until I get to know the new Faith. Yeah, I think we gotta wait to pass judgment on the new Faith, but there's nothing wrong with being a little sad that we're losing the old Faith, the only Faith that we've known. Lisa115 voted no to the recast. I hate to see the actress go. I was so impressed with the fact that she had never been aged up like so many of the other characters on the show, and it was nice to see her actually growing up. She's a terrific actress, so I'm not surprised that she's moving on. However, I am looking forward to what will happen between New Faith and Moses. He's a cutie. Yeah, it's so rare that we would actually see a child actor age up on the show when Sorazing is such a staple of daytime. It's just what is done. Olivia was very rare in that way. Faith was very rare in that way. I think other than the babies who played Faith, there was only one other girl who played Faith. So she certainly dominated that role for the majority of Faith's time on the show. And it is a shame that we've lost a little something there. It was a cool little facet of her character that I feel I didn't really even get to appreciate all that much until recently, and now she's going to be leaving. But yeah, we still gotta be open to the direction that we're headed, because I get the feeling that it was probably the actress's choice to leave. She's got her eyes on other projects and other things that could help her stretch as an actress. Marianne V says, I'm not happy Faith is changing to someone a little older. The actress playing her now is perfect as Faith, and I do understand if the actress wants out. She's great and will be in great demand. She will be missed. I know. Well, Gary says the assumption is being made that Faith is being aged from 14 to 18 with the hiring of the new actress. Faith is not returning from boarding school on April 12th, 4 years older. She's just continuing on with her life from where she left off on the 9th when we last saw her. Oh, was that her last episode, the 9th? So we've seen the last of Faith. Yeah, and it was a good one, too. Her seeing Moses and then smiling in the hospital bed. I almost wish we could have got some cool flashbacks. Maybe that's what it was all about last week. I really wish we could have had a little bit of a better goodbye. But more to your point, Gary, and in fact, I'll let Sherrod respond to this. The new actress is older than the current one, but since there will not be too much time in between each being on screen, I don't think they can age her up. The new actress will probably just play younger than her actual age. I didn't think of that. So Olivia's 14, the new actress is 18. It is certainly possible that Y&R won't play an age up, that the new actress will just play a little bit younger and will just move on seamlessly. In fact, I hope that's what they're planning. Change of topic. Ellen says, good job, Summer. Your mother is a loose cannon, and you have to be firm and direct to get through to her about butting out of your business. She's only stirring things up with Sally. I doubt she will listen, but at least you're being clear with her. Yeah, I like that you're focusing on Summer a little bit here, Ellen, because I don't think I did enough of that. Summer has handled the situation with Sally better than Phyllis, better than most situations that Phyllis handles. Phyllis is a hammer, and the whole world is a nail. So I think that Summer's reaction to a lot of this has been pretty admirable. I mean, Phyllis is the one that bumbled along and kind of botched this whole thing up. Thank you, though, Phyllis. I'm glad that it got botched up because I wanted the secret to be revealed. And in fact, just a little side, John, I have to say, as I was watching Jack and Sally and that scene on Friday, I was telling my daughter, I was like, listen, soap operas, and I think Gary might have originally planted this as the seed about what soap operas are about. It's secrets kept and secrets revealed. I mean, that is soaps. Secrets kept, secrets revealed. So you got to find a secret. You got to find what lengths the characters will go to cover up the secret. Then you got to reveal the secret. That's like the whole conceit of the soap opera. And while it's like, okay, great, Phyllis, you did a good job of way to go messing up the secret. At the same time, as a soap viewer, I'm very happy that she did. But Phyllis does so in such a brash way. It's like, what was with Phyllis trying to get aggressive with Lauren about the whole thing? Like, Lauren was supposed to choose her loose friendship with Phyllis over her own business needs? I don't think so. I also wonder what is going to come of Phyllis through this. Has Phyllis really done it this time? I mean, we had Nick warning Phyllis about getting involved, siding with Summer when it all went, sideways. And Phyllis was showing a little bit of jealousy toward Sharon here. So this is a little bit of a crack in Phyllis and Nick's relationship. Is that going to continue to be explored? And if so, what direction will they both be going after that? Keisha says about Nick has always been an easy mark for Chelsea. He has the right amount of air between those ears. That's why Phyllis could always lock him down with a beer and a video game. Yeah, so it makes me think, if there's a crack in Phyllis and Nick's relationship, is it possible that Nick will go running to Chelsea? Will Chelsea snag Nick at the end of all this? As you say, Nick has always been an easy mark for Chelsea, and that is why Phyllis could always easily lock him down with beer and a video game. It is certainly not real hard to persuade Nick Newman. Beer, video game, and boobs. I'll add boobs. Let's not forget boobs. Okay, everybody. As you can very clearly tell, I have a head cold. I can barely breathe. My voice is very tired. My daughter got sick first, and she was only really sick for one day, and I thought, okay, good, we're past it. So she was sick on Monday, and then by Wednesday, I started feeling it. Thursday, I had completely lost my voice, and now I'm just on the road to recovering it back. My voice is very weak, and I'm congested. I can't quite breathe. Once again, just to dispel any myths, I don't have COVID. I promise I don't have COVID. I'm not pregnant, and no one has poisoned me with thermite. It's just a head cold. I'm sure that I will rest and recover the rest of today and the rest of next week, and I will be back with you in full force next Sunday. All right, everybody, time to give it a rest. I love you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.